Welcome to the SNA Live podcast, hosted by Three the Hard Way. This is for the culture. Black and Latinx. Where you at?
What's good, cigar fam? It's your boy Seaway, and welcome to SNA Live, the show not just about cigars and cigar lounges, but life in general. Because if you're in a nice-ass cigar lounge with your peoples and only talking about cigars, then you missed the whole motherfucking point. We're recording live, as always, from Cigar Smoke and Ashes, Cigars and Haberdashery, the hottest cigar lounge in these United States. With me, as always, are my partners in crime, the GM and Malik. Say what's up to the people.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, fam?
We can now be seen on One Institution Media's platform, as we are now part of the OIM family. Today's episode is episode number 9, entitled Purple Tape, track number 9.
You better get that.
Now, I'm not going to tell you the track, what that is, but I will say this. Purple Tape,
Classic.
only built for Cuban links by Raekwon. Figure it out. Go to track 9. You'll see what we're talking about. Today's topics, we're talking about the difference between building something of value with creativity versus using money. We're going to be also talking about the two approaches to business ingenuity, reinventing the wheel versus redesigning the wheel. We also have a couple segments for you. We're bringing back Billionaire Block Gem of the Week. And as usual, we're closing out with what you rocking with. And with that being said, as usual, cut your stick, light them up, and let's get it popping.
Welcome to SNA Live, a podcast like no other. Featuring Three the Hard Way. You want it? You got it. Yes. We are back. Season 2, episode 9. Purple Tape, track 9. Imitation is something that is so dangerous. And we're gonna take you on a ride, showing you the differences between both. So get your stick, get your seat, get your drink, and let's rock. I will say that a slogan that I know we use between us when we talk: innovators create imitators.
Real talk.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And you could take that, if you really get deep into the context. People who innovate, we want to be in the room with other innovators because they help you push the bar.
They inspire.
It's like being on a team. When you play with other players who are of a high caliber, they force you to level up.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's nothing better than being in a room with those types of individuals.
Exactly.
So that's a big statement.
Like the slogan, you should never be the smartest person in the room.
No, because once you are, that's it. You've maxed out.
And you can't build, you can't necessarily learn anything. Exactly. Like you always want to be like uplifting yourself, always bettering yourself, always trying to push the envelope and pushing, I should better state it, pushing your boundaries beyond what you thought you could be, the possibility of what you can be. So, before we get into the topics, as usual, we got to talk about what we're smoking, but just real quick, you guys got to do a little homework on this one. Meaning, we're not going to just give it to you. Purple Tape, track 9. Look it up. Google it. Like I said, I'm going to give you this little tidbit. The Purple Tape, like I said before, only built for Cuban links. It was the second, I want to say, solo album put out by Wu-Tang. I want to say Meth had the first one.
Had the first one.
Yeah, and then I think Ray's came second.
Yep.
Only built for Cuban links. I want to say it dropped in 95, if I'm not mistaken.
95, summer 95.
Yeah. So, before we get into the topics of the day, we're going to talk about what we're smoking. Leek, I'm going to let you set it off. What you smoking, brother?
So I went with, to me, one of the best kept secrets in our humidor.
Okay.
This is the Padilla. Padilla Finest Hour. This is the Oscuro.
Okay.
So.
And we've had them for
a while.
The
sun-grown, and people haven't really picked up on it. This is a great freaking cigar, man. So
But you know what though, that's kind of on us too. We need to start pushing people,
pushing a little, definitely. But so just to give you a little breakdown, it has obviously my favorite Connecticut broadleaf wrapper.
There we go.
Maybe I'm biased, probably that's why I'm saying that. Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan filler. So it's nothing too fancy, but this is great tobacco. The Padilla family have been around for years, putting out a lot of good product, not just only for themselves, but for other brands. And again, it's one of my favorites.
And we've had it, man. We've had it here.
Yeah.
So this week I went with Blackworks Killer B. I was in a mood for
flavor bomb.
Yeah, I wanted something, not too, big of a gauge size and straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
And this one does this. You have a dark Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper that has the little wraps on the end to resemble like a bumblebee.
Yeah, okay.
Which are pretty cool in the design, which that's the background of basically Blackworks. It's a whole artist experience.
Yeah, very creative.
Yes.
Very creative.
And then we have Nicaraguan binders. Like you said, nothing crazy, nothing crazy on the inside. But I guess it's the quality of the tobacco that's used.
Definitely.
So I'm rocking with this one right now. And Conway, what are you smoking, man?
So I wanted to do something I hadn't smoked before. And you know me, I'm a Robusto guy. And as a matter of fact, I think all three of us, that's one thing we have in common with respect to our particular taste in cigars. We're Robusto dudes. But I went with, this is like a Grand Toro, right?
Yeah, which one is that? The Crown?
The four Kicks by Crown Heads.
Yeah.
So it's, the company's called Crown Heads.
Sublime, right?
Yeah, it's called the 4 Kicks Capa Especial.
Yeah.
So it's an Ecuador Sumatra wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and then Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers.
That's where the twist comes in.
Yeah. So now, once again, I usually don't like smoking cigars this large. I'm a Robusto dude. And the reason for that, just so everybody's clear, is just in my experience. Now, not all the time, because we've had our house blends are larger gauges.
They're Toros.
And they
hit.
Yeah. But for the most part,
it's because they're 52s, though.
Yeah, the flavor, when you really want to get the flavor of the cigar, the Robusto is, I think, the best experience for the most part.
Yeah, if you want to get the balance.
Yeah.
If you really want to taste the blend, though, it should be somewhere along the lines of like a Corona.
Robusto. Yep.
Yeah, but I love like you said, we are all Robusto guys. Like, out of all the lines you give me the option, I'm going to take a Robusto.
Definitely.
Unless you do something exotic.
Yeah, and then, there's always exceptions.
We have those here also.
Yeah, that's true. We do, too.
So, Rye, you made the liquor run this particular episode, so I'm going to let you talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, again, so just to stay in light, with keeping it light, last episode we went with the rum, trying to keep it in the same pattern for our livers time after time. So we went with the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. Normally would put out a 15-year or 14-year, but again, trying to just get ready for the summertime vibes.
Yes, sir.
So we really just want to get a feel, and this feels like you belong on the beach.
Definitely
Glenlivet Scotch, but I think it's put inside of Caribbean cask barrels for 6 months.
Just to soak up that rum flavor.
That's all it needs, just a hint.
Yeah.
And plus, because those barrels are very saturated.
Yeah.
So, I like it. It's not too sweet. It doesn't have that caramel base of a rum, but even though it's a Scotch,
but it has the smoothness of a Scotch.
Correct.
Smooth.
Yeah.
So that's what we're sipping on right now.
All right, so let's get into it. Our first topic, we're talking about the difference between building something of value with creativity versus the almighty dollar. Right, I'm gonna let you start off talking about this particular topic. When we came up with this whole concept for this whole episode, for the most part, and just to kind of give a little insight, a little background. Mm-hmm. So, with our topics for our podcast, we're always brainstorming. We're always coming up with different ideas. And the idea doesn't necessarily have to be a whole episode. It could just be a part of an episode. So, we list as many topics and thoughts that we can. And what we're talking about today, for the most part, was the GM over here is his brainchild. So I'm gonna let him start it off and talking about just that difference that between creating something of value with creativity versus just throwing money at the problem.
And that's exactly how I was gonna start it off. Throwing money at a problem never fixes anything. if you want to create something, for one, you have to have passion behind that brand or item or store, whatever. Even if it's a coffee shop, you know, a hot dog stand, whatever it is, you have to have that passion behind it and be creative enough to stand out amongst other people. Now, there's some people though that would just want to just throw money out at a problem or at trying to build something without any real creativity behind it. That's a major problem, because when you detach yourself from whatever it is you're building, it's never going to be successful, or it never will represent you totally ever. You know, so there's people that'll go out there and just figure that they can pay firms and pay. I've watched this even in sports. I've watched the New York Jets and multiple teams that hire these firms instead of hiring football people to make decisions, and they fuck up time after time. That's just throwing money to try to fix a problem.
And you would think they would learn, but they don't.
Because the money just keeps coming in, so they keep fucking up. You know, so some people also have money like that to waste. And they just throw money away, you know, and you hire firms and you get involved with things that don't represent who you are. You, for one, will lose yourself from your business, and your business will never take on the identity of you. Now, another thing, when you're creative, you don't have to spend so much money doing something.
No.
And you could still get something of equal or better value because you're creative. You know?
Matter of fact, on the last episode, episode number 8, entitled Yo Mama, Leak had brought this up about Mr. Commodore in terms of like his whole comedy platform on social media, how he's not in some fancy studio, he's not, you know, being backed by millions of dollars to be able to put him in a position to gain, you know, X amount of followers or have
and put out good content.
But he's still putting out the good content on what looks like pretty much a shoestring budget.
Exactly.
But it's still quality material.
Correct.
Because he's replacing or supplanting, you know, any type of money that would go towards it with being creative and thinking outside the box and still putting out the quality material.
I mean, and this even goes into the business world. I mean, again, coming from a banking background, you see a lot of these big companies with these big money, and they go out and recruit all these, you know, guys from these prestigious colleges and have all these master's degrees, and that's almost the same premise. Is like you're basically putting all this money out, you're giving them these big bonuses, but are they really the most talented people to help your business? You know, they're using their money. Let's go out and pay this guy $10 million bonus because he has this fancy background, but is he really the right person for the job?
But
so
they can afford
it, exactly.
But here's the thing though, the fancy background doesn't necessarily equate intelligence. But I'll put it this way, just like shout out names. Jared Kushner got into, I want to say it was Harvard, based on his pops buying like a whole new library wing or something like that.
That's been going on for centuries.
Exactly. So like now you come out of Harvard with this quote unquote Harvard background, but you didn't really have the grades to get in. So just because you have the background doesn't necessarily equate.
Trump, same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
And there's so many more that we don't even know the names of.
Yeah.
You know, those are just the names of the people we do know.
I mean, actually, Trump is actually a perfect example of that because he got into Oxford or whatever.
It was Wharton Business School.
But he had business smarts. He didn't need school. Obviously, he didn't learn shit over there. But he had the street smarts that made him successful.
He definitely had street smarts and a little bit of crazy. That also helps.
Yeah, he was borderline with that, definitely. But again, you could just see though, when it comes to opening up just something as a brick and mortar store, it could be whatever it is, right? There's someone that'll come in and not have any real understanding of how to put something together. So what they'll do is they'll just put a lot of their money into concepts and designs that are designed by other people, not them. Telling them what it should look like. This is what the color scheme should look like. I'm the decorator. I'm telling you this is what's popping. You understand?
This is what makes people comfortable in an environment.
Yes.
And you want to have people feel comfortable in your establishment. And research shows that the color purple, if you didn't, it's just like, what?
It's true. It's a little much.
But does it represent like the people, the core of who you're trying to attract? And does it represent you? Because you're a reflection of your business.
Absolutely. Now again, look, there's some people that have failed with this method too. Being creative. There's a way you can be too creative that you have detached yourself from.
Because you personalized it too much.
Yeah. Like there's cigars in here that I don't smoke. There's some that I don't care for.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's bad. You know what I mean? It's somebody else.
It's not about you. It's about the customer.
It's about the experience overall.
I'll give you a perfect example. So, just to kind of bring it back, we are guys who used to frequent a legendary spot called the Cigar Inn in the city, 2nd Ave, between 53rd and 54th. So the owners got bought out by Monte Cristo. And I remember the vibe of the Cigar Inn in its heyday.
Oh, yeah.
And we've talked about this before on the podcast, too. So, Nino Brown used to DJ there. That's where I met Ade. I met Ade at Cigar Inn.
Same here.
Shout out
Same
Ade.
here.
So it's like there was just a vibe there. And then when they sold it, and shout out to them. I'm not. This is not saying it's a bad thing that the owners, Baz and them, sold the place because they got their money. Cool, good for them. But when Monte Cristo took over, all they did was throw money at the refurbishing of it and the rebranding of it, not understanding,
getting rid of the culture that was established.
Exactly. And I can probably count on one hand the time I've been to now the Monte Cristo Lounge, since they became the Monte Cristo
I've been
Lounge.
there about 3 times.
Yeah, so I'm saying I can count on one hand.
I think maybe once or twice for me.
Yeah, I think I went to like a Christmas party.
We had a meeting there.
Yes, we did.
That's the one. We had 2 meetings there, actually.
So I've been there 3 times. 'Cause I remember I brought my wife there one time. Yeah. So it's like, but
you went for the anniversary.
I went for the anniversary. That was just to represent our day.
Now, meanwhile, back in the day, I'd have been there 4 times in a month.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a perfect example of, when you have something as the essence of something through creativity versus. Then this is not like an anti-big corporate thing, but because
no, not at all.
Because they didn't understand. But in this particular situation, they didn't understand what the culture was coming in. They just thought like, okay, throw money at it, and we'll just create the equal vibe.
We'll figure it out as it goes along.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They buy themselves time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
What they should have did is like how sports teams do. You bring a scout or you bring somebody and you let them see the experience that's going on.
And there's people that do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They obviously didn't do that.
But not every. But you again though, this also goes to that same person that I was saying that you hire to decorate your spot. They too sometimes can be too much of an artist, and they have detached. They're like Prince. Like they think that they're totally different. They know everything. They don't. The one thing that I could sit here and tell you is that you cannot detach too far from your customer base.
You definitely cannot.
Because if you grow, you're growing in a way that you think you're supposed to grow, but you're not listening to what your customers are telling you.
Exactly.
And that's a fucking big no-no.
Definitely. So we got to get to our segment. We're bringing it back for this episode. It's called Billionaire Block Gem of the Week.
Let's get down to it. This is the SNA Live Podcast, hosted by 3 the Hard Way. And this is Billionaire Blocks. Give us your take on books, business tips, financial, music, whatever you like. Billionaire Blocks, inside the SNA Live Podcast.
All right, so we're back with the Billionaire Block Gem of the Week. So the Billionaire Block Gem of the Week is actually a quote from Mr. Damon John. Now, people who hear that name nowadays think about Shark Tank.
Yeah.
He's on Shark Tank with Mark Cuban and it was Mr. Wonderful, I think he calls himself.
Yeah, it's Mr. Wonderful.
And Lori Grainer and what's Shorty's name with the Susie, not Susie Orman, with the short blonde hair. She's a real estate agent.
Yeah. Corkin.
Barbara Corcoran. Yeah. But we remember him as one of the co-founders of FUBU. A big clothing line back in the 90s. FUBU, an acronym for us, by us.
Yeah.
Very inspirational brother, very successful brother. So he had a quote. It was a meme actually that I catalog inspirational quotes in my phone, and this particular quote resonated with me. So I figured it was perfect for our Billionaire Block Gem of the Week. And here's the quote: "The only real commodity you need to start a business is not capital, it's creativity." And it just, when I saw that, I was thinking about what our Billionaire Block Gem of the Week was going to be this week. I thought to myself, that quote right there just embodies everything we're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
With respect to starting a business, making a business successful. And don't get me wrong, we're not saying money doesn't help, because God knows it does at a certain point.
It does help. But if you don't have the creativity behind
exactly,
it, you're only gonna go but so far.
It's not the end all be all. Your creativity, and you used this word earlier, your passion. That's what's gonna carry you through.
It's true.
Because the money's gonna run out at some point. You can only throw dollars at something, but so much.
Yeah.
But if
For so long.
For so long, exactly. But if the creativity's not there, if the passion is not there, you're just gonna be throwing basically money in the fucking ocean.
You're better off burning it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, shout out to Damon John, Billionaire Block Gym of the Week. Quote by that man.
I mean, his hustle was crazy too back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, people don't know really quick. He used to have like one outfit, like one set of certain clothes. He'd have either a jacket or a sweater, and what he would do with these music videos, he would go off and have one artist wear them, take them off,
Go to the next
dry
video
cleaner. Even if it's the same night, take them right to the next dude to get him for another video shoot. So he didn't have the bread,
Exactly.
but his hustle made it work.
Hustle and creativity. There you go.
You know what I
There
mean?
you
So
go.
it says a lot to the guy's character, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
why he's where he's at.
Yeah, exactly. His approach to business. And talking
Yeah,
about that,
absolutely.
our next topic, we're going to talk about two different approaches to business ingenuity. We're talking about reinventing the wheel versus redesigning the wheel. And I'm going to let the GM, Mr. Rye over here, kind of just break down what we mean by that.
So when you are going to get involved in some type of a business, you should obviously do some type of research within your wheelhouse, so to say, not to keep it on.
Yeah.
You know, but so try not to make too many wheel puns right now. But you should definitely.
That's all right, man. Keep it rolling.
Oh shit. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. It got me on that one. Did you get that one, Lee?
Yes, I got it.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
If you didn't get it, rewind it and listen to that shit again.
So, you should actually do some research though into the business you're getting involved with. And what you could do is you could take some notes from some of the things or your competitors. That's probably the best word to use. You can see the things that they do, and you can try to find a creative way to take components of theirs and then make it with your twist. That's called redesigning.
Similar to what we did before we opened this place. You know, how many lounges did we go to and kind of critique and take the good and bad of every little thing, and we mold it into our own.
But I think one of the things you said, you hit the nail on the head, like the making it your own.
Yes.
It's
Like,
huge when it's yours.
That's
man.
the key part, as opposed to just seeing something and being like, I like that.
I'm gonna
replicate.
I'm gonna do that.
That exactly.
Exactly. And just it worked for them, it's probably gonna work for me. No, it worked for them because it was their thing.
They created it.
Yeah.
When you copy it, it goes back to
Purple Tape Track 9.
it's only gonna go but so far for so long before it gets recognized by other people that, you know what I mean, that you're not actually being creative. You're just being, you're following suit. So
It's gonna start to show after a while.
Yes,
Keep
it
doing
will.
It's gonna show.
Yes, it will. And the sad part is that's how you lose complete touch with reality between your customer base, yourself, and your business.
Definitely facts.
Like Brother Stark said on the track, come up with your own shit, yo, and be original.
It's true though, because look, nobody wants to pay for a carbon copy. People like originality.
Yes.
It's nothing like walking into some place, whether it's a restaurant or something, that everything just feels fresh. The look is cool. The vibe is different. Like, you walk into 10 places, you're going to find similarities.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then there's those ones that just stand the fuck out.
yeah.
And that's what you want to have that mind frame in. So it's okay to see things that are done in businesses that are done by your competitors, but see the things that work, but add your twist and make it your own. Okay? Listen, if you open I'll use it like the coffee shop. There's only but so many ways you could twist a coffee shop, but you could still twist your coffee shop to be yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether you're creating the names after your grandmother, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, you can still make it yours.
Yeah.
And people like things like that.
Yeah.
You look at most of the spots that are successful, whether they're bakeries or restaurants, they're from people who created atmospheres.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they separated themselves from somewhere else. People went for the experience.
Exactly.
Like our hashtag here is experience the experience.
Yes. Yes.
You have to be here. You have to be here to feel what this is. You can't really, you can enjoy it on Instagram. You may be able to try to simulate it and copy it and do it somewhere else, but it ain't gonna be the same when you copy it and do it somewhere else.
You know who's a perfect example of that? And I'm not a big fan of his, but I respect what he does and how he thinks outside the box, and it's actually worked for him. Kanye.
Oh, that's outside the box is a fucking understatement.
Like, listen, I'm not a fan of his clothing lines. I've never bought any of his sneakers, nothing. But that man thinks completely outside the box, and it works for him. I mean, he's almost freaking a billionaire. Right
I don't
now
even think that man realizes a box exists, let alone thinking outside.
He's an alien.
Of it.
He's not from
here. He's different. He's definitely different. But listen, I mean, he's selling. You see his new sneakers, those Jesus shoes that he freaking put out. I bet you they sell them. I bet you they will sell.
Yeah, they will today.
They're gonna sell.
You talk about the Exodus Part 12?
Exodus Part 12. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, whoever posted that.
That was hilarious, dude.
The Leviticus 3s?
It was one of those social media dudes. Oh, Ha Davis. Shout out to Ha Davis. It was him. Yeah, man. But like, he's gonna be successful because he thinks outside the box. Again, not a fan of it, but hey, he's different. He's very different, man. So you got to give him props.
Like Conway mentioned earlier, though, you look at this place. Okay, like this is not your grandpa's cigar lounge.
It is not.
Now, it doesn't mean that your grandpa can't come here and hang out, because
We have had some grandpas come here and hang out.
they've had a bomb ass time.
It was different than what they was used to. Yeah.
They come here and they have a crazy ass time. They tell you thank you 10 times before they leave.
Yeah.
You know, and then they go leave you a 5-star review, because that's what the elders do.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, they're gonna have a good time. This might not be their cup of coffee, but when they want that experience, they know where to go. They're gonna come here. They're not gonna go anywhere.
Yes. So I mean, if you're going to start off though doing something, for one, have the damn passion behind it. Do your research, okay? Because you don't have to. And we've spoken about what's the gentleman's name? Reginald, with the
lawyer.
Reginald Lewis.
Lewis, yeah.
And his book was entitled
Why Should White People Have All the Fun?
Okay, so
My bad. Why should white guys have all the fun?
So his storyline was basically, you want to give a little quick backdrop, just real quick.
Sure. So, I mean, he had many different points in the book, but one of the bigger things that I took from it was his belief of you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. So he was an attorney. He had his own law firm down in the financial district. And then he started realizing, because he was a business attorney, essentially. He helped businesses. He did corporate law. But then he started looking at the other side of the spectrum, meaning I don't want to be the attorney for these businesses. I want to be the businessman and have my own attorneys working for me.
Yep.
So what he started doing was he's like, I want to build a holding company that has other businesses under it. And what he started to realize was not necessarily every business you have to build from scratch. He was a big proponent of having existing businesses, buying them out, seeing what was working and what was not working, cutting the fat, rebuilding them up into a stronger, healthier, more viable business. And I've been a big proponent of that. I've spoken with you brothers about this and us going forward.
And we utilize that in what we do.
Definitely.
And that's to the core.
And for the people that come here and they see us, at the cigar lounge at Smoking Ashes and think to themselves, oh man, like they're really doing it big. They have this cigar lounge. Best believe this is only the beginning, not the end.
Correct.
We have a whole bunch of other plans that we're gonna do. We're gonna be implementing things, later on. And we don't really talk much about it, but when it comes, because we're not talkers. We're just doers. We just move. So when it happens, y'all know definitely.
We play to win the game.
Shout out Herm Edwards.
Hello. You play to win the game. But that story, original, that is the epitome of what we were just saying about reinventing the wheel and
redesigning it.
Yeah. See, he took something that was already established and then just put his twist on it to where his knowledge and his feel was. Like you said, something didn't work here. My gut, my intellect tells me you cut this, you change this, you do this. That's him putting his hands on it.
Yeah, there's something here, and I think with my input,
correct,
we can make this a successful company.
Absolutely.
So we have to get into our segment we usually close out our shows with the segment "What You Rocking With." If you tuned in last episode, I made a point to try to go left so Lee couldn't copy my shit again.
And I'm about to get you back.
This is What You Rocking With inside the SNA Live podcast.
It's no introduction.
So, GM, I'm gonna let you start
Yeah,
off.
because I'm the one that's on the outside of this rivalry. This is one segment there's no rivalry here.
I'm gonna let you set it off tonight, brother.
So for
what
me,
you rocking with this week?
I am rocking with your circle. And I'm a big proponent of telling people to always fix your circle and keep your circle tight.
Yes.
If you show me your friends, you show me your future. Okay? And listen, there's that old saying, if you hang out with 4 idiots, you're going to be the 5th one. To some point, there is some validity to that.
No, there definitely is.
You know what I mean? And it's not, it's slanderous or anything. It's just like, listen, you have to see who's around you and what's around you. I'm not telling you to go out and try to find these upper echelon, high class people and just like it up all day and think it's gonna rub off on you.
Just start rocking fucking what is this shit called when you have the not the handkerchief,
Ascot.
the ascot. Yeah, start rocking ascots and just thinking like
no,
it's gonna
you don't
be
have to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Listen, you can have friends and there's acquaintances.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to learn that fine line. But my thing is the circle. If you keep your circle tight and you keep your true friends close to you, you'll get people who are like-minded and always challenge you to be better and do better. And they're also seers of the, long-term game, and there's creativity and ingenuity with them. Those are the people that'll always keep you young and fresh.
Definitely.
That's what I'm rocking with this week.
Definitely.
Leak, what you rocking with, brother?
So I'm going to stick to what I usually do, and I always go left on this. I'm going to go back to the last couple. Yeah, that's what I do. Last couple of episodes, I stayed on it. I'm going left this time. And at the same time, I'm going to get Conway back, and I'm going to take what he was rocking with the last episode. So I'm going with the New York Knicks front office.
I got to support that.
But to be honest, I was joking a little bit. It's kind of is to the topic, because if you think about what they did, they burnt down the structure and rebuilt it again.
Yeah.
They brought in the right pieces.
With their own hands on it.
With their hands, yes,
They didn't bring in a big name.
And they didn't throw money at the solution.
Which is what their problem's always
That's
been.
what
They
they've
throw
always
money
done.
at big
Yes.
players or big execs, so to say, that don't come in and they don't do their job.
So,
Phil Jackson.
So for an example, the first one was Leon Rose. That was brilliant. Don't go with the typical front office executive, suit that just comes in and just throws money at solutions. They found an actual agent who has relationships with all these players.
And that means he's in conversations.
He's in conversation. He knows how they think. He knows, he knows their manual. He knows
What
their
they
families, what they like, everything. And that's helped. Now they brought in the right pieces on the team. They have
they're getting there.
Rose is a point guard, but they still need a true point guard. But
They
at the
need
end
a
of the
younger
day,
influence.
Yes,
or
but
who we need.
They have shooters. They have the big man. They beat you up. They going back to the old '90s now.
Exactly.
They beat you up now. They going back to what made them. What started.
That's what's
the
fun
New York
watching
Knicks.
them now.
Yeah, man.
I've never been a huge Knicks fan. I'm
We know.
obviously I'm from New York, but I root for them.
We know.
But
We know, Lakers.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm proud of them. But again, it goes back the front office. They brought in Worldwide West again.
Shout out Worldwide West.
Someone who was in the trenches, who knows everybody, has all the connections. And again, they tore it down and they built it all the way back up. So shout out to the New York Knicks front
That's
office.
what's up right there.
Okay.
Conway, what are you rocking with?
So it's not gonna seem like it goes with what we're talking about, but it's somebody who just dropped an album, and for a minute I've been feeling him because he doesn't go with, okay, this is what's hot, so let me do this. He's always done it by his own rules, his own standards, and it's always been quality.
I know what you're doing.
J. Cole.
Yes, sir.
Yo, shout out to J. Cole.
First of all,
95%.
this brother doesn't rock no jewelry,
Nope.
not rocking grills,
Nope.
no watches, grew his dreads out. He's playing basketball in Rwanda right now.
I was fucking hoes for 6 years before I found out that I was the hoe.
Nice.
I'll do you one better. The freestyle he just dropped, he was on LA Leakers.
Yeah.
Shout out LA Leakers. Every bar was insane. So he flowed over the 93 Till Infinity beat,
Yep.
and then the Mike Jones Still Tipping beat. And on the Mike Jones Still Tipping beat, he ended it with this line right here. I'm the hardest thing to come out the South since slavery. And I just was like, yo, this brother's focused right now. So
and there's nobody seeing him.
Nah, there's not.
I'm not taking anything away from anybody. I'm just saying on a straight rap, like hip hop, like we wouldn't be like real what this is called, right? The genre you're in looking for your Grammy is a hip hop category, right? So we go into hip hop, right? He is hip hop.
Yeah, he is the epitome of it.
Right now, especially, he still has the old flair,
and he's not concerned.
And
with,
shouted out Dave East in his album too. So it shows real, recognized real.
He does. He does, man. And he's not concerned with like
Cam on the intro.
This is that's hard. That shit threw me off.
Yeah.
I was like, say word, he got killer.
He went straight New York.
So I'm just like, yo, he doesn't worry about the current trend. He's like, I'm hot. You can't dispute that. Now, he may not be your flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's okay.
And that's cool. That's cool. But you can't not respect him.
And for those of us that respect him, we enjoy the shit out of these albums.
Yeah, man. Keep it pushing, brother. Keep it pushing. And on that note, we appreciate you joining us on this journey. As usual, you can find us on, we on YouTube now.
Yeah.
We on One Institution Media's platform now.
We're gonna be on Twitch real soon. I'm gonna upload all of our stuff to Twitch.
We're about to be on Twitch real soon. We on One Institution Media's platform now. We on SNA Live Podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms. Like I said, we got a YouTube channel now. Check us out, man. Check out our old episodes, season 1.
Yeah, go back to season 1.
Yeah, we got our link tree is in the in our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. Like the GM said, we're gonna be on Twitch real soon. And in the words of Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. We out.
Peace.
You have just listened to the SNA Live Experience. We want to thank you for tuning in with us. We'll be back with another episode.